Today we list my top 10 figures that I think are the worst. This is gonna be a rant. So yes, I'm on a mission to collect all 96 figures, plus the variants, that Kenner made from 1977 to 1985. And if you have to go back and catch up on those episodes to see how I got here, please do. So yes, we're gonna collect all of them. Not just the ones I think are the coolest, not just the heroes or the ones that got the most screen time, all of them. I love the entire vintage line. You have to. If you're doing something like this, you kind of have to love it. And it's a little bit crazy what I'm doing, but it doesn't mean that I'm in love with every single figure. So today, we're gonna go over my top 10 figures that I think are the worst that I have to collect. Are you guys ready for a rant? Then let's go. Number 10, Yak Face. We had to start strong, and I know that some collectors are in love with this figure. Unfortunately, I'm not. I mean, not only does this character cost an arm and a leg to get, I mean, something that makes me dislike this figure even more, his coin costs more than the figure to get. And just because this is a rare figure, I mean, at least to us here in North America, I really don't like the way the figure looks. He only had 2.5 seconds of screen time. He had no real place in the movie except for standing there in Jabba's palace, but yet he gets a figure. I mean, I do think he's an original looking character. I mean, other than the fact that he looks like Joe Camel, but I'm really not looking forward to the day that I have to fork over that much cash just to get that figure. But I want it in my collection. And this is number 10, so there's 9 more figures that I despise even more. Number 9, General Madine. Now, I have a special place in my heart for Madine because the one in my display case is the one that I actually used to have as a child. I did have to buy a staff for him, but I also had to buy this for my grading run. And was I jumping for joy? No. But I still remember getting this figure as a kid. And although I was stoked to get a Star Wars character, did I play with Madine much? No, I remember putting him to the side and I would play with my IG-88, Dengar, Reese, and one of my favorites, Lando Calrissian. But at least Madine had a line in the movie. And the sweetest fake beard in the galaxy. And with his white horsewhip, you didn't want to mess with the guy. But collectability excitement factor for this figure, that's why this guy is at 9. Number 8, Walrus Man. Even when I was a kid, I always thought that this character had a life preserver on, just like Marty McFly from Back to the Future. In fact, I used to have a motorcycle toy when I was a kid, and the little plastic figure that clung onto the bike looked exactly like Walrus Man, with his orange body and blue or black arms. And the fact that they gave him flippers for feet makes me think that this was a reissue body mold from another Kenner toy line that you could swap the head for like a G.I. Joe scuba guy and he could pass for an underwater rescue man. Am I gonna get him? Absolutely. Will I be excited to get him in the collection? Yeah. But will I brag that I got him? Probably not. So I'm sorry, Ponda Baba fans, but this one does make my list. Number 7 and 6, the Bespin security guards. Yes, Rami and Jaws make my list. Wait, you don't know who Rami and Jaws are? Well, here you go. Rami and Jaws, 2 Bespin security guards trying to get it right. From getting locked into lower detention levels to finding out what's really in the bantha patties, it's a buddy cop show in a galaxy far, far away. From the producers of The Fall Guy and Happy Days, Rami and Jaws, only on ABC. And even though I had a Bespin security guard when I was a kid, my dad had a Beatles record called Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, and I thought these figures were a part of that band. I mean, even in the movie, they look less like guards and more like high school marching band members. So I'm sorry, Rami and Jaws. I love you, but you make my list. Number 5, the Cloud Car Pilot. If I lived on Bespin, and I was a pilot, and on my first day, they gave me this uniform. And I went home to my wife, and I showed her my new pilot uniform. She would probably, number 1, be proud of me. But number 2, she would laugh her butt off. She would laugh her butt off because I had to fly a $1 billion Warcraft machine in a suit that looked like this. And I get that it was designed in the late 70s. And as a kid, after I saw the music video by Devo called Whip It, once that's in your head as a child, it's never leaving you. So Cloud Car Pilot makes my list. Number 4, Prune Face. Let me ask you a question. Do you drink prune juice? Do you eat prunes? If the answer is yes, then this character is for you. Why would you ever collect a character named Prune Face. Hey mom, can you get me Prune Face? No, which one's that, Jimmy? You know, the pirate looking character that has a patch on its eye. You know, the character that's in that Star Wars movie that I didn't know existed until we got a VCR, then little Bobby came over and pressed pause at the exact second that Prune Face shows up in the briefing room? Yeah, that guy. Can I have him, please? Yes. Prune Face. I have to collect a character named Prune Face, and that's why he makes my list. Number 3, Rebel Commando. For those of you who are G.I. Joe aficionados, there's a character codenamed Zap. He was a bazooka soldier and was released in the first wave of the 3.75-inch figures in 1983. Now, who does he remind you of in Star Wars? If you said Rebel Commando, then you win the prize. And yes, the Rebel Commando makes my list at number 3. I thought that this character was a G.I. Joe when I was a kid. And no offense to G.I. Joe collectors out there, but the Rebel Commando looks exactly like a Joe. And I get it that they were a rebel crew and couldn't afford uniforms as cool as the Empire's. I told you this was a rant, right? I will collect the Rebel Commando, and I'll do it with a smile on my face. Yo, Joe. Number 2, Anakin Skywalker. I love the Jedi. I collected Ben Kenobi. I collected Darth Vader. I know he's a Sith, and I did it with a smile on my face. But this Anakin Skywalker guy, he looks like a happy-go-lucky grandfather figure in his bathrobe, getting ready to sit down and watch Archie Bunker. I mean, look at that cheeky smile. So I wish that we would have gotten an Anakin in the Darth Vader suit that you could remove his helmet, so it's like a dual purpose. Boom, he's Darth Vader. Take the helmet off, he's Anakin Skywalker. And he's redeemed. But I did collect this figure, and I even got a baggie. So yeah, I was excited about that. But still, he makes my list at number 2. And what is my number 1 figure? I bet that you guys all know what I'm gonna say. And my number 1 figure that I am going to despise collecting, but I'm gonna get, at number 1, it's the Imperial Dignitary. And this one is no surprise. You guys all saw it coming. It's practically the number 1 figure on everybody's top 10 list that they despise collecting. Okay, except for the 1 or 2 of you who have a character focus going on for this guy. And let me speculate for a second. I think since Palpatine had all the power in the galaxy and everyone was pretty much a yes man to him, do you think he took advantage of it and had some fun with it? I think he did. In fact, I think Palpatine had an awesome sense of humor. And here's why. He gave his Royal Guard arguably the best looking uniforms in the entire squad. That red armor, come on, it looks awesome. But for his royal court, he gave them the equivalent of Dr. Seuss in space suits. The Cat in the Hat would be jealous as heck over those headpieces. And yes, I think Palpatine was trolling his court. Yes, you all look great. So this is what we get. We get a sickly green-faced looking guy wearing a purple bathrobe, a red ascot, and a bishop's hat. Will I collect it? Absolutely. Did Palpatine troll all of us collectors? Yes, he did. He's laughing all the way from Exegol right now. So thank you for going on a little rant with me, having some fun. And yeah, that was my list. And today, I'm gonna collect a figure from that list. And since we always go big or go home on this show, we are gonna collect none other than my number 1 figure from that list. My number 1 most hated figure that I have to collect, the Imperial Dignitary. So let's do it. So I had no idea what the Purple Pope was going for in the collector's market. So we looked at Star Wars Tracker to get a good sense of what the highs and the averages were for this guy. And it looks like the highs are coming in at around 175 and the average is around 115. And these are all eBay sellers. So let's look at the Facebook groups. So it looks like one sold for $90, but that one had nose rub, which by the way is one of the flaws on this character. And just like the Jedi Luke, this character suffers from that. And no, it's not from brown-nosing Palpatine, it's from normal wear and play through the years. And another data point is this one, which looks like no nose rub, some paint splotches on the figure, and normal wear. Not mint by any means, but it sold for $120, so there's that data point. And this one sold for $145. Again, no nose rub, but there is major scuffing on his leg by the LFL copyright, so I would have asked the seller to knock down the price a bit. So we went on the hunt on eBay, and we found a figure with practically no scuffs on his body and 0 nose rub. So let's go check out how it came in. I actually like the way that this figure was packaged, and I have never seen a figure packaged like this before. But since this figure's paint gets dinged so easy, maybe the seller took that into consideration, but I actually love the quality of this figure. There is minor paint loss in one of his legs, but no nose rub. The face color looks great, And actually, I would send this figure in for a grade. The only dings I would get are those minor scuffs from the leg. But if I find another Imperial Dignitary that's not so nice, I'll put that one in my display case and I'll send the one that we just got to get graded. So let's go ahead and cross off the Imperial Dignitary off our list. And the final total for the figure came to $132.46 with shipping and taxes for this guy. So with our coin included, it comes to $164.64 for this figure in total. And let's place this figure in our collector display case. And the link to collector display is in my description below. And if you use my code TPC2022, you get 5% off your order across the entire website. So if you're considering buying a case, go to the link below in my description and use my code TPC2022. But you know what? That Imperial Dignitary, it's growing on me. I mean, he still makes the top of my list, but now that he's in my collection, I have a better appreciation for him. And thank you all for listening to my top 10 rant of the figures that I most despise, that I have to put in my collection. But at least you got to see behind the scenes of how I go and research data points to figure out the cost of a figure in today's market. So hopefully that can be helpful for you. And just for an update, a few episodes ago, I made an error on a picture of a coin. I showed a Chief Chirpa coin from the Ewok series and not the Power of the Force coin. So here's the Chief Chirpa from Power of the Force. And here's a Chief Chirpa from the Ewok series. I am human, I make mistakes. But since I'm passing off information, I do want to make corrections to those, so there's that correction. And if you found this video interesting, please hit that like button. It does support the channel. And also, if there's items that you need for your collection journey, visit my links below in the description. And every time you click and buy using my links, it does support the channel, so thank you for that. And if you feel like seeing more content from me, please subscribe. And also hit that notification bell so you can know when videos go live. I post videos every Wednesday and Saturday. And as always, my friends, thank you, and I will see you next time. If you're new to the channel, check out the welcome video, or just check out the next episode. And please subscribe if you want to follow the journey. And remember, there is no shame in being a Padawan.